Well, welcome to another bourbon hunt. Today we're hitting the Winder area. We're looking for special and limited releases, and specifically craft distillery limited releases. So that was one of our polls that we put to our members, and they want to see if we can find some tasty craft distilleries. So we're headed to Winder and to our first stop. Okay, we're at our first stops, Jack's Beer, Wine, and Spirits, plus cigars, in Buford, Georgia. We're going to go in and see if we can film inside, and if we can, we'll show you what they have, and if not, we'll tell you what they have. So, be right back. Well, we did ask if we could film inside, and they looked for the bourbon manager and couldn't find him, so I didn't get permission, but I did take photos of several bourbons and whiskeys I thought were very interesting, and we'll show that now. Okay, first up, I noticed on their shelf this Blackland Prairie Gold Texas Straight Bourbon Whiskey. I've not seen this brand before. There seems to be a lot of Texas whiskeys, not familiar with that one. And Redline has their own honey finished bourbon, looks like, but $90 for sourced. I don't know. Traverse City, I've heard some good things about that. Normally I've not picked up, but a barrel proof for $60, might have to look at that again. And there's my favorite James E. Pepper, the Decanter series, their barrel proof. Excellent buy at $59.99. In fact, I've already got a backup of it. Barrel Bourbon New Year 2024. Very interested in that. In fact, I probably would have bought it had it not been I'm only looking for small distillery and craft bourbons. An Old Forester single barrel. You can't go wrong. 119 is a little pricey, but it really is good juice. And the 1792 Bottled and Bond, same thing. I'd buy another one if I didn't already have two in the whiskey vault. And Short Barrel, the Bee's Knees. Now, I've actually heard that that's one of the best honey-finished bourbons. I'm just not sure I'm that big of a fan of honey-finished bourbon. And this Tin Cup 14, this presentation just looks different from the other Tin Cup 14s I've seen. Maybe it's just out of the box. I don't know, something about it's different. And this Bourbon 30 was very affordable and 100 proof, but I don't know anything about it. So what did we end up getting? This Traverse City. This is a single barrel proof. It's 58.5% alcohol. It's 6 years old. And I was reading the description on the back, and it sounded very interesting. And it was like $16 off the normal price, so we paid around $59 for this. It was normally marked up a lot more, so we're going to try this, put it in our first pour. So now we're on to our next stop. Okay, we're at our second stop, Royal Blue Wine and Spirits in Winder. Looks a nice little store. Going to go inside and see if they'll let us film. If not, we'll take some pictures and maybe we'll find some tasty bourbon. Okay, let's take a little look around at the Royal Blue shelves and see what they've got. That Larceny, I think, is an A123, so nothing new there. Old Forester, Jack Daniels. I.W. Harper, I think that's an overhyped bourbon. Black Maple Hill. Jay told me that is a pretty good bourbon. I haven't tried it before. Woodford's, Wild Turkeys, Long Branch. Long Branch is really an unappreciated bourbon. Knob Creek. Everything's good there except for that smoked maple. Don't buy that smoked maple. Heaven Hill, $60, not a bad price. Baker 7. Ben Holiday. Can't go wrong with any of the Ben Holiday I've ever tried. Michter's. Some Nelson Brothers down there. Thomas More. I've never had that, but look at that. That's $20 off the normal price. Must not be moving. And look, Buffalo Trace and Weller Special Reserve on the shelf, no limit. Amazing. And there's last of the James E. Pepper. I thought about grabbing that, but I've already got a backup of it. But that is excellent juice. Some Pinhook, Penelope's, Jefferson's Reserve, not a fan. Four Roses. Some Elijah Craig. You know, I've been looking for the Elijah Craig single barrel and can't find it anywhere. Not the cast strength, mind you, or the barrel proof. Just the regular old single barrel at 94. It's a Jack Daniels single barrel cast strength rye. And that's James E. Pepper again. Green River, $36.99. You just can't go wrong with anything Green River. Some Bowman Brothers and Isaac Bowman. Remedy. Remedy is a distillery in Gainesville Jay was telling me about. I'm going to have to look at that some more. Fiddler. What do we have up here? Rare Breed. Jack Daniels Bonded Rye. I hear the Bonded Rye is very good if you're a Jack Daniels fan. Penelope Toasted Rye. That's some good juice. One of the few ryes I actually like. Evan Williams. Bottled and Bond down there. That's always a good choice. Or Tin Cup. More Jack Daniels. The flavored stuff. Not a fan of flavored whiskey. Unless it's Elvis. Midnight Snack. Now, I do like that. Jim Beam. Some of that cinnamon stuff. And the Sagamore Spirit Rye. Well, what a fantastic little store this is. Royal Blue Wine and Spirits. I met the owner, Jay, in there. He gave me the grand tour, although I didn't get that on tape because he actually gave me the tour before I started videoing. He doesn't have an extensive selection, but he's got a very nice selection. And he had some really good allocated stuff up on the shelf. And he asked me not to show you that because he's got some more stuff coming in, and we're going to go back and show you all the allocated and special releases he's got. You know, some of the big names. So, but we had a great time in there. He let me try the Traveler's Whiskey. He got a sample of it, and you know what? I think the hype has gotten to it. It's actually a fine bourbon, a little young tasting, but a good flavor, a good balance to it. So what did we end up getting? We did end up getting a craft distillery, a local distillery. I'm not sure whether they are an NDP or produce it themselves, but this Remedy, it is a straight bourbon whiskey. This is a single barrel. Jay highly recommended it. He knows the people that run the Remedy Distillery over in Gainesville, and he says it's really good. So on that recommendation, we got this Remedy, and we're going to give it a proper first pour. So on to our next location. All right, we're at our third destination, Turtle Wine and Spirits in Winder. We hope to find some tasty bourbons inside, so let's go see if they'll let us film. You know, I've heard really good things about the Leopold Brothers 3-chamber, but at $235, I think I'm going to need to get a sample first. This is a section right behind their store picks. We'll get to the store picks in a minute, but RY3, wow. The Madeira cask at $75, I'm interested in that. A lot of Old Elk. I really want to get a cigar cut. I thought about getting it today, but I need to stay on track. But a really nice store, a lot of selection, a lot of bourbons and whiskeys. Rebecca Creek. I've heard good things about that. Never had it. And Laws. You know, I really like that Laws 4-grain in that Armagnac cask. And they had a bonded version there. I'm interested in that, but not buying that today. There's another Journeyman. And Ben Holiday. I see they're out of the Rickhouse wheat, red wheat. And a lot of Old Pepper distillery bottles. Never seen that much Old Pepper in a single place before. The single barrel Heaven's Door. Now, so far I've not been impressed, but that looks like the one I'd most likely get. Calumet, Templeton. A lot of nice smoke wagon there for you smoke wagon fans. Penelope. You certainly can't go wrong with their toasted rye. And Paul Sutton. I need to find out more about the Paul Sutton. And Bespoken. This is the first place I've seen that. I've heard about it, but the first place I've seen it. Green River and Four Roses. Nulu. Nulu's just, I don't know, a little bit overpriced for what you get. Stellum. This is a new one. Confession. Original Sin. But at $110, I think I'm going to need a sip first of that. Heard good things about the reservoir. Bullet. I've tried Bullet, and so far not a fan. Uncle Nearest. I've tried that. So far, not a fan. Widow Jane. All the Widow Jane stuff is good. Everything I've ever had in Widow Jane is good. Old Forester, Whiskey Row. Solid picks. Pinhook. I've only had one Pinhook so far, and I'm a fan of the Vertical series. Woodford Reserve, and it'll go by real fast, but they've actually got a single barrel Woodford Reserve, and we'll talk about that in a minute. A lot of High West products. J. Mattingly, that seems to be really priced. There's your single barrel proof rye, $69.99. And Very Old St. Nick. Is it just me, or is it trying to play off of the Pappy's kind of image with the old guy in the pipe? 2XO. I've got a sample of the gem in Kentucky. I've got to try that. And more short barrel, including the Bee's Knees. And this High and Wicked, I've been seeing that a few places. Ragged Branch. Master Pick. Why is the 15-year-old more than twice as expensive as the 14-year-old? And there's a Remedy again. We got a Remedy at our last stop. Nashville Barrel. I've heard good things about Nashville Barrel. Lead Slingers. I got a Lead Slingers 10-year-old I need to try. Along with that Remus Reserve. I've got a sample of that somewhere I need to try. I've actually tried the Puncher's Chance, and so far not a fan. Roadwood Empire, definitely a fan. Everything they do so far I've liked. Fiddler, same way. ASW just makes really good juice. One day I'm going to own everything they have, because so far I've liked them all. And Barrel, most of the Barrel stuff I liked. Some of the stuff, a little bit overpriced. And not a fan of George Dickel. Sorry, George. And we got our Chattanooga Frey Ranch. That uncut. I've got to get that Frey Ranch uncut. I heard that's really good. And look here. The barrel bourbon. They had the 32, batch 32, 33, 34, and 35, I think. And then the Red Line. Red Line makes some pretty good stuff. You just have to be kind of selective what you get. The Element with the Amberana finish was really good. Brothers Bond. Now, I heard that the Brothers Bond regular wasn't so good, but the cask strength was really good. There's our Watershed. We're in their store picks section now. Blue Note, uncut, good stuff, but you got to let that stuff breathe. You really have to let the uncut breathe. I really almost bought this rare character. It was so interesting to me, but at $94.99, I thought, I just don't know. Whistle Pig, not a fan. Knob Creek, their single barrel, was a really good price. Woodford Reserve. Now, the Woodford Reserves here are store picks single barrels, and they're different from the regular Woodford Reserve, I promise you. Penelope, the Architect. There's a James E. Pepper. Almost bought this. I came so close because they are a craft bourbon. And the Woodford Double Oak. This is actually a store pick Double Oak, and it was quite good. Puncher's Chance again. Look at that, $60. Yellowstone, so far not a fan of Yellowstone. Looking back, there's their rye, Old Pepper. And here's their back behind the shelves, all their allocated and reserved. With these items, they actually put them into raffles. Now here's their tasting area, where if any of their store picks you're interested in, And any of their special releases, if they got an open bottle, they'll let you taste it. And I got to taste the Rare Character, the Woodford Reserve, what was else? The Watershed, I think Oak and Eden, and maybe one or two others while I was back there. We had a good time. And I decided on the Watershed, but this Woodford Reserve, this is their store pick. In fact, they had 2 different versions of it, and they were quite delicious. Wow. Our third store was a gem, just loaded with bourbons and whiskeys and store picks. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I stayed in there forever looking at the different store picks to find one that would meet our qualifications, a craft style bourbon that was a special or limited release, and we got one. But wait till you see the video, or if by now you've already seen the video, and they have a lot of nice stuff. And the stuff on the back counter, behind the counter, they do a raffle. I don't know how often they do it, but my name is in, and they've got more to put on there. The Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, I think they're going to be raffling off some of that. So I've got my store pick, so I'm entered into the raffle, get a chance to buy one of those fine bourbons, should it become available. So what did we get? I really went up and down, back and forth. There were so many things I could pick that met our qualifications, but I ended up getting the Watershed. This is a barrel strength. It's a single barrel select from Turtle Creek. 64% alcohol. I got to taste it, and it's quite delicious. And I heard good things about the Watershed. Never tried it, so next up on our list, on our After the Hunt video, we're going to pop open this boy and see what it's like. So we've pretty much exceeded, not by a whole lot, but we've maxed out our budget. So 3 stores is it for today. So come back next time when we have another bourbon hunt, maybe another truck series or 2 before we can get back on the motorcycle. We hope you enjoyed the video. We'll come back for more, and please remember, always drink responsibly, never drink and drive. We'll see you next time.